Okay, so people are still joining, and welcome so much to this part 2 of our stress management. Um, Once again, by show of hands, who can tell me who was here last week and who's joining us now for the second time? Yeah, so show me first who's here for the follow-up, then I'll know who's new and who was here last week. All right, so I see quite a few hands. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. There, the hands are coming more and more. Brilliant, brilliant. All right. Okay, so I hope that at least means you learned something last week, and this week you want to build on that a little bit. So, so this is absolutely great. All right, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So as people are joining, let's start with the introduction so long. Um, and yeah, let's start with that. If anyone has something to add, you are welcome to put it in the chat box. Do not be shy. This is the time where you can ask your questions, share experiences that's happening to you. This is the time where you can talk. Right. Let me just take this instruction bar out of the way. Fantastic. So all of you, well, most of you may know me by now. I'm Celia Denton, and I am the owner of PTES Consulting. So we are a company that does psychometric assessments for most of for our clients. And I always say thank you to the HR Talk that arranges all these webinars for us and sends out the links and get everyone to join. So thank you to them. They are more on the HR side, and we do more the psychometric assessment side. We've got some websites that you can check out if you want to. And this is what we will be looking at today. So we are going to look at stress management, but we will build a little bit on the stress management from what we did last week. So I'm going to just recap what we did. We will then look at something that may be your answer, but something that you can at least work on or develop, do something about your stress. So you will also remember that last week I told you that this year we need to look at our physical state a little bit more. I always used to focus on the meditation and the relaxation and the calming of the mind. I've now realized that your body is an entity that you really need to look at it, and you really need to nurture it. You need to start becoming aware of your physical body. Most of us we don't even know the level of inflammation that the body is in. We don't even know how the poor body is struggling. So this year, make it a point to develop, or shall I say, look at the physical part of it. I've seen now how many times people go do blood tests and then all these surprises pops up. And I don't know if you guys remember that I told you last week that I was going to go for some blood tests. Now, I was going to tell you my result, but now it's still not out. So I'm hoping to tell you what my blood test result is going to be next week. I was hoping I could tell you this week, and I hope it's ready next week, because I wanted to show you whether I had an improvement, because I had a little action plan. For those of you who don't know, I had a little action plan for cholesterol, but also a lurking autoimmune disease thing that's sort of in the background. So the reason why I'm focusing on the body when I talk about stress is you can be sick, you can be putting your body under immense stress, and you don't know it. You only find out something is wrong by the time you are actually very ill. So don't let that happen. Be aware, start becoming mindful now already. Don't wait until you're stressed, not stressed, sick. Don't try and reverse it then. So while people are still logging on, let me just give you a brief description of what did happen to me. I did go and see the autoimmune specialist, and they told me that the particular diet that I was on, and it was just really cutting out sugar to a massive extent, has had without blood test, it had such a positive effect. They didn't even want to give me the regular medicine, because they said there's no need for it because there's no pain. And it was purely because I cut out sugar, bread, pasta, anything that causes sugar in the body. So I just cut that out. If you were wondering what it is that I did, I just followed the keto thing, not because of any particular reason, just because it made the most sense to me to clean out the body from sugar. And someone told me I may have a good result when it comes to cholesterol. So I really hope I can give you my answer next week. I really hope I can. All right, enough about me. If there's anyone who's got maybe an illness or an autoimmune thing going on, apparently it's so popular, this autoimmune thing. A massive amount of people have it, and they don't know what to do with it. So let me know in the chat box if you want to share. Please do. You don't have to if you don't want to, but share, because there's such great research on what we can do. So I would also like to know if I'm alone, and if some of our participants don't have anything. But I know, we all have our little things. If it's high blood pressure or low blood pressure or cholesterol or this or that. So share. Feel welcome to share. I want you to feel that this is a space where we can chat with each other, because we are all the same. Right, let's start. Let's just do a quick recap of what is stress. So remember, everyone are exposed to stress, everyone experiences stress. Remember, I gave you a statistic last week that said 57% of South Africans currently, since COVID, are experiencing extreme levels of anxiety. And these are people that normally reported good resilience, a good stress management ability. 57%, now that's almost 60%, are struggling more than usual. So you know, I'm actually usually not I'm not bad. I'm pretty good. So your normal person is now feeling a little bit more out of control, a little bit more, they just don't feel like they can cope. So it's important for you to know this. And I'm saying this not to scare you. I'm saying this to you. It looks like post-COVID. So now it's like the tsunami came, the wave came, and it crashed. And people are just now in the aftermath trying to swim through the debris and all of that. Don't think it's all over yet. Just be mindful of what is happening to you now, what is led up to it. And the research did say it's people who lost jobs through retrenchments because of COVID. It's because of paid cuts during COVID. I know that people are, we can see in the market, more people, they're changing jobs because they're literally trying to solve the problem that way. So we can see there's a panic in the market. So become still and think, what is happening to me? Where are my children now? What are they doing? What are they going through? What's my husband or my wife doing? What's happening here with my parents, whatever. Just become still and look at what is going on. And now you're going to see, when I look at the definition of stress, what is it? It is a process that happens in everyone. So if you can understand the steps, you can manage it. Don't wish it away. You will never get rid of stress. You also don't have to be stress-free. You don't have to not experience any anxiety. You just want to control what you've got. You want to do it you want to take back your power and take back your control. But don't think you should not have anything. The only time when you don't have any stress is when you're dead. And we still have a lot of fun and time on this planet. Give it a go. This was a challenge that was given to you. Give it a go. There are things that you can do. And I can tell you now, for the most people that's on this, they may be severely stressed, but I can tell you each and every one of us can still change a thing or two in our lives. We can. It's not all done yet. It's not all over yet. So let's look at the definition of stress. It's the body's reaction to any change that requires an adjustment or a response. Remember, though, change is there constantly. Small change to big change. So a small change is the change in temperature. A big change, I lost my job. So small changes, medium changes, big changes, it can be anything. The body reacts to these changes with a physical, a mental, and emotional response. Remember, it's an overall thing. It's not just in your head. It's not just in your body. It's everywhere. Become aware, become aware, become aware. That's your answer. Stress is a normal part of life. You can experience stress from the environment, your body, and your thoughts. I'm going to reiterate your thoughts. The environment, your body, your thoughts. Everyone suffers from stress. So even if you walk from one room to another, there's a small difference in room temperature. Stress is caused. So if you know, it's that where it pulls on you a little, and you need to adjust to it. That pulling, sometimes it's a small pull, sometimes it's a big pull. Become aware of that. You can say to yourself, "Oh, I need to adjust again. I need to adjust," and you're going to say that a lot of times during the day. It happens constantly. Know that that change is inevitable. It's going to happen. All right. And then, how do we recognize stress? So let's look at different symptoms. You want to start differentiating between the different types of stress. Who are you? What happens with you? Emotional stress symptoms, physical stress symptoms, cognitive, behavioral. So there's the four. You will probably have a combination of all. Sorry, this I have to have this in between. So this is my positive influence on you, just to show you. This is how I start my day. This is love in a cup. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day for today. Oh, Christmas in a cup. Okay, so become aware of what happens with you. You may have one that's worse than the other. Start to learn who are you? What happens most of the time with you? Sometimes feelings are so enmeshed. People, they just at night, they just can't sleep. It's such chaos. They get to that point, they just can't sleep. But if you trace it back, what has happened to you during the day, during the week, during the month? How was your year? So look at the whole thing holistically. Don't think, yeah, but there was nothing happened today, so what's my problem? Don't just look at it so rigidly. Become aware of who you are. Emotional symptoms, becoming agitated, frustrated, moody, feeling overwhelmed, like you're losing control. You know what I also sometimes find, I do it myself. I would be at a point where I feel very irritated, very, very irritated. And then I think about what happened now to cause it. And then if I think of what happened, then I think, yeah, but that was not so bad. So it couldn't be that. Yes, it can be. It's like little needle pricks just irritating you. Acknowledge it, just see it. And you will see that your feelings may elevate a little bit if you can identify something it just put a little bit of pressure on you during the day. Don't think, yeah, but that thing that happened, it's not big enough. You know what I mean? It is big enough. It's small enough as well. It's, there's little needle pricks. And enough needle pricks will get you there. All right. Physical symptoms, low energy, headaches, upset stomach, aches and pains, chest pain, insomnia. Those types of physical things. We are so aware of the physical things. Cognitive symptoms, the best I can describe to you, when you all have experienced this before, whether when you were an adult or a younger person, when you go blank, you're trying to make a speech or write an exam or talk to someone about something and it just goes blank. That blank is, and even if you don't feel very stressed, the blank, it means anxiety. So it's affected you to the extent that the synapses are not making nice contact. But you can get it back quite quickly if you calm down, if you talk yourself down, if you have a positive internal dialogue with yourself. Behavioral symptoms. So now this is what happens when all of this is happening now. And at the end of the day, I get home and I just kick the dog and I slap my husband and I whatever. That is what you do to sort of counteract what happened to you. So if you feel particularly like you're just biting people, recognize that it's because I'm irritated. I'm just trying to let it out. Procrastinating is a fantastic example of a behavioral symptom where I don't actually feel stressed. I just don't start. I just don't start. That is sort of it's like an avoidance thing. Increased use of alcohol, maybe a little bit more wine at the end of every day. But remember all these things in balance. You don't have to cut out things that you like. Just be aware of maybe caffeine or coffee increase. Keep everything at a balance. Some people actually literally eat more sugar and sweets because it's just a thing to grab onto. Nail biting, fidgeting. So remember the four: emotional, physical, cognitive, behavioral. Just recognize your own. Then you get internal and external things. External is something from the outside. You can't really control it. Deaths, injury, illnesses, relationship breaks down, being a victim of a crime, retirement. You can see I put in there a whole bunch of types of examples. It can be anything. Don't think that retirement should surprise you. It's a massive change. Or moving house. It's a massive change. Just give yourself time to adjust to it. Internal things would be high expectations, either from other people on you or you on yourself, demands, misperceptions, assumptions, fear, anger. All right. And then stress would be described as the inner psychological, emotional, or physiological tension in the muscle. So this condition happens when more is expected of you than you can actually handle. Have you felt that way? When you have a good day, you can actually take quite a bit. And then when you're just a little bit, maybe not as energetic, and you get things that you sort of feel, the adjustment, the pushing, the pulling is a little bit more than usual. Then you want to stop, work out your plan, and take it from there. Right. And then the difference between stress, worry, and anxiety. So this is very important because we do see all of this all enmeshed in one. So so please make a mental note of this. You've got stress, worry, anxiety. You think worry is maybe just, that is stress. You are causing a hell of a lot of stress for yourself, but it's separate from stress. So we even test it psychologically. In psychometric testing, we test it as separate entities because it actually is. So you need to know what you have control over and what you don't. So stress happens in the body. Stress is an emotional response and is usually caused by an external trigger. And it could be anything: exams, traffic, boyfriend, girlfriend problems, poverty, unfairness at work, illness. Now, that is something externally that's happening. We know that those things happen. You may get divorced, you're exposed to COVID, you may lose your job, all of those type of things. There's not always a lot of control over that. But remember, that's your challenges in life. Look at what is it that you're supposed to learn from it. You may say, yeah, I've heard that thing. Everything has got a purpose. There's a reason. We're not, we get so hurtful of that. When someone tells you, there's a reason why it's happening. There actually is, because if you think about challenges comes to you so that you can build your resilience, so that you can become stronger. So even if you don't have a religious take or a spiritual take on it, it does make you stronger, doesn't it? It just does. And I think it actually happens without without you wanting it. Okay, so let's just see. Good morning, Sina. Just posting question here before I forget. I've requested a copy of the webinar from Canada. Okay, so someone is just saying that they want a copy. You can email the HR Talk or myself. They can give you a copy of this presentation, but they can also give you a recording. Okay, so let's go on to worry. So worry is a thing that a lot of people have. The good news I have for you today, this is my Valentine's present to you. Worry is a habit. It is a learned behavior. It is good to have a healthy level of worry. Don't let the worry tip into distress, because worry is different from stress in the sense that it's mostly internal thinking and it happens in the mind. Very important. It's internal thinking and it happens in the mind. It's something that you do. So everyone is on a scale. Some people worry a little, some like medium, some people worry a lot. It is often triggered by something that's real in life. For example, getting cancer or losing a job, but it is followed by unreal, imagined thinking that it could happen or will happen to you. It's not very, I don't want to tell you that it's easy to control it, but in a way it is. But get help to help you control it. And the reason why I want to tell you that we've got different reasons for worrying. You may be someone who was brought up extremely responsible, so you just take on everything yourself. You are maybe just someone who's generally more anxious than others. A lot of this has got to do with our backgrounds, but you can absolutely do better today. You can. I would say what happened to me in my life is I got to a point where I wanted to really sort myself out. I saved a little money. I went to therapy and I tried to figure out, where does this come from? So Maybe you can sort out your own anxiousness and worry by yourself, but if you need help, go get it. It's a very good investment for now. And one of the times when we had a webinar, someone said to me, yeah, but what if I just cannot afford a psychologist? Remember, it's a priceless investment, because especially if you can get to someone that's good, because it is in the long run going to help you manage things better. You may even make more money in the future because you're thinking differently and managing yourself better. Don't think that, yeah, but there goes the money again. Don't think limited like that. Think about the investment you're making in yourself, because if you can manage this better, your life will be better. You will have a better influence on other people. You will think more positively about certain things. So once again, differentiate in your mind about stress, worry, and just control your worry. You can still have a little bit of worry. You don't have to eliminate it. Manage it. Bring it down a few notches. Bring it down. You can do that. Read up on it. What is it? What does it mean? And you will see that this links a lot to emotional intelligence. It's about awareness. Oh, you may think you don't worry as much, and therefore you don't really want to do something about it. So someone here says, that's me, I'm a warrior. You can become a proper warrior in this life. A proper warrior, that's a fighter. That's a trained, disciplined fighter. So be this warrior, not that warrior. Be someone that wants to find out what this is. How can I do this better? Upskill yourself. So remember, worry is a habit. It can be changed and developed. It's very difficult to change COVID. It is very difficult to change, like traffic. It's very difficult. But worry is something that you can, and this is why I know I'm getting stuck on this point now, but it's very important to me. Worry links to a lot of other things, because it links to the emotional intelligence, about your awareness of, do I put it out of proportion? Do I, when I worry, start talking to other negative people and put on a dress and shoes and a little hat, so I'm really serving a tea in my living room? So remember, let worry in the front door, but also just greet it and let it out on the back door. A lot of you may have seen that thing on Instagram and on Facebook where the guy says, let it come in, let it pass, don't sit it down and serve it tea. Be aware, just be aware. And then the third thing is anxiety. So this is how it links together. Anxiety happens in the mind and the body and is caused by persistent, excessive worrying about things. Very importantly, did you know that you can have anxiety even if there are no stressors? That means you are working yourself up because it's in your mind. Yes, there are things happening around you, but you can even single-handedly sit and work yourself up and make it worse than it is without there being stressors. So I see how people are so much today talking about anxiety as if it's like a welcome part of the family, like it's a color of your eyes. Oh, but I've got anxiety. I just have anxiety. Don't just accept that you've got it, like you've got, if there's something serious that you've got, like an illness, like cancer or a serious disease that you have. But anxiety, don't just fall victim to it. Go look at what you can do about it. My gosh, some things we need to accept, and it's hard and we don't want it. Don't put anxiety on the backpack on your back, but go do active research. What is it? What is it that I do? Go and do some personality tests on yourself. Do stress research. Go look at what are my style? What do I tend to do? Ask people. You don't even have to pay money for this. Go ask the people closest to you. How do you usually think about things? I was surprised, well, not very surprised, when my high school friend said to me she remembers how I used to worry. And I thought, I hope I didn't affect the people around me too much. But when you're a student in school, you're not really very aware. But so I just hope that me carrying on didn't affect other people. So even if you just don't want to do it for yourself, do it for other people around them. They don't want to always hear about how much you are suffering because you're the only person on the planet, you know? Um, Something else that I read about resilience. There was a list of things that you can do, and it actually said part of it was, like healthy eating, blah blah blah, exercise. It said connect with other people, and there was one other thing that I thought was quite important, and that was giving to other people. You know how quickly you turn inside into yourself when the stress is high. And you okay, and remember, narcissism, selfishness is a defense mechanism. Unfortunately, that is why people develop narcissism. So I know it sounds sort of shame that I feel sorry for them, but that is how we develop it. It's a self-preservation thing because I only look at myself. Unfortunately, it's then difficult for that person to be in life with other people because if you are narcissistic or too selfish, people actually start avoiding you. So when you get to that point where you feel my stress is overwhelming, start reaching out. Look at what you can do for other people. Look at, and it doesn't have to cost you money. What can I help someone with? Even if it's just advice, even if it's bake them a batch of rusks, just so that just reach out. Um, if you do things for other people, it's quite strange sometimes how your own stuff reverses a little bit, but also in balance. If you don't have energy to give, don't. You look at yourself first, but reach out, become healthy, become balanced. Right. Let's go to the next slide. Then this slide is just to tell you you don't have to have no stress and no worry. There's good stress and there's bad stress. So if you have a little bit of that stress that keeps your heart rate increased a little bit, that rush of hormones, it keeps you on your toes. It's good. That's the thing that will make you study and prepare and be ready. Bad stress is when you take it a step too far and it's actually derailing you, and you feel like you're you really go blank in certain situations. You actually become disorganized. You forget. All of us have had that. Just go back to the good stress. Just entertain. Now acknowledge. Oh, I'm experiencing a little bit of an elevation right now. There's a little bit of an adjustment taking place. Just be aware, but it's not a bad thing to have a little bit of stress or anxiety or worry. That's the thing that makes us survive, because if you don't have a job, this is the thing that will make you start applying for a job or start your own entrepreneurial creativity. So you don't want to have no stress. Then this is going to be the muscle that you are going to exercise in 2024. So really, do yourself a favor. Instead of just browsing on Instagram and what are the other things, TikTok or something like that, or Facebook, whatever, Google and research resilience. You will see that resilience stretches way further than just mental resilience. So resilience is the thing that actually harnesses your inner strength, that helps you rebound from setbacks. It helps you to recover. So even if you feel stressed, maybe you didn't get a job that you wanted, you really feel defeated, you may jump back fairly quickly. So when I started my business years ago, luckily I can say that now. The way that I started, I did phone people. I phoned because I didn't really have a website. All of those things it wasn't really online yet. I phoned 50 people a day. That was my goal. And I quickly realized that you don't have to feel bad because people give you a no. They just don't have a need for your service right now. So I used to feel pretty bad because out of about 50 phone calls, I may have had one person who said, okay, send me your stuff. But then I thought that's why you do it, because of the one little fish that you could catch. And I realized quickly that even though you feel bad or negative because of all the no's, I was able to bounce back quite quickly because I did put it into perspective. Because resilience is like a muscle that you can build. You can build it, develop it. You can develop your mental resilience, but literally also your physical resilience. How many of us let the physical part go by the time when we get older? We get older and you just do less. And in my case, and I'm sorry, I do want to refer to my own situation regularly. I'm not doing it because I'm narcissistic. I just want to share because there could be things that you're experiencing that's the same. So I just thought that my back, the vertebrae that was becoming stiffer and stiffer, I just thought, well, it's age and whatever. And then I learned that it's actually this autoimmune thing that can make it stiffer and stiffer, and at some point it can't even bend anymore. So then, because of the cutting out of sugar the last 3 months, I got a massive amount of mobility back. So, but my message that I want to give you is, the thing is, if you don't know something is wrong and you carry on because you think you're just getting older, I can't really run anymore or walk, or I'm supposed to be stiff and whatever, don't just accept things. Challenge yourself a little bit. It actually said here on the research that I was doing earlier this morning, bend your body in interesting ways. Go do Pilates, do yoga, do interesting things. The more physically resilient you are, the better you can bounce back from physical injuries or even illnesses or sicknesses. So the sneaky thing is, I only realized that my vertebrae stuff was getting stiffer with a blood test. I didn't have any other symptoms, and that's a pity that we wait so long. And then the reason why I keep on reiterating the sugar thing is, we really give our bodies and our mental state a pounding. And then we think, but why, I'm stressed. What can I do about it? You're giving yourself a pounding. And that is with little sleep. Our eating habits are the worst. Probably since we've been on this planet, we're the only ones that buy stuff that comes out of boxes and bottles with stuff in it. And there's sugar in everything. I've researched it now. There's sugar in everything. It causes inflammation. So research a little bit. Research. And then, so the other thing, resilience helps you to not dwell on problems for too long. If you feel like a real victim, because you got rejected, whatever, but bounce back, the ability to bounce back, that would be the key to the answer today. Adapting to adversity. You know that we cannot keep the adversity and the challenges at bay. They just come. Once you've finished with this one, then the next one comes. There's always a bill on its way to you. That's just how it is. As soon as you think you've paid something off, then a new one comes. So it's constantly there. Be aware of it, adjust, adapt, prepare yourself to be ready for when it hits the fan. And remember, I'm saying here, resilience isn't about putting up with something difficult or being stoic or figuring it out on your own. In fact, it's the ability to be able to reach out to other people for support. That's very important. People don't reach out to people anymore. A lot of people they just actually turn onto themselves. They think they have to sort it out themselves. You don't have to sort it out yourself. Look at what you can do, and then look at just maybe talking to someone. Maybe they can't really help you, but just discussing it. And then resilience and mental health. It can help you protect from various mental health conditions, such as depression and anxiety. Resilience can also help offset factors that increase the risk of mental health conditions. Remember, you as a very normal person can develop a mental health condition. Don't think it's for those guys there that's got mental health conditions. They were always sensitive, whatever. You can also become mentally sick for a short period of time. It can hit anyone. It can hit a healthy person. The time that we are in right now it's a rough one. Now we've got load shedding and stuff on that on top of it. We have to adjust. Can you see how you have to adjust? The power is going to go off now. You have to adjust to it. What other plans can I make? As a matter of fact, I believe accidents have increased, insurance claims have increased, all because of load shedding and things like that. So go and read up on what is resilience. As a matter of fact, there was just something I wanted to look at. People with high levels of resilience are characterized by high self-efficacy, a good internal locus of control, the belief that one is in control of the outcome. There's nothing worse if you have a feeling of helplessness or hopelessness. Then that is when we lose the battle. So that internal locus of control, strong critical thinking skills. don't just accept or discard knowledge when you get it. Think about it. How do I feel about it? But think about it. Critically reason through things. If people tell you the country is at its end because of load shedding, we're going to crash and burn, you know what? We're still going. So I also have my ups and downs. Then I think, but when is it going to go this way or that way, whatever? Think critically and think about what it is that you can do. Humor. Don't forget humor in a time of crisis. Actually, someone else said the other day, if you start worrying about something, sing it. Sing your worry. I haven't done it yet because I forget. Because when I worry, then I just go one way down the negativity slope. But sing about it. I'm going to try and remember it myself. I haven't done it yet. A last one, self-discipline. You will get nowhere if you don't have self-discipline. Probably in my life, and I can't believe I'm saying it because when I was younger, I was also a rebel. You don't follow rules, try to be cool. You don't want to be too disciplined because then you're... Discipline is the thing that gets you where you want to go. Another tip I want to give you, don't pursue your goals feverishly. Do it calmly in your own way, in your own time, but get your goals. Don't do it feverishly. It's when we pursue things feverishly that the wheels come off. You're going to get there in any way. So you can just as well do it without the fever. Pursue money, pursue ambition and goals. Don't do it feverishly, because feverishly it's going to burn you out before you're there yet. Then I want to just touch on something about the internal locus of control. I don't know if some of you know this, but the World War II and the concentration camps, the Nazi concentration camps, and everything that happened to the Jewish people, there was a lot that psychology could learn out of those experiences. So I don't know if you know about this, but Dr. Frankl, all those guys, Freud and Jung and whatever, they made that massive observation. Dr. Frankl was one of those. He was also in a concentration camp, and he said to himself, why do some people die in the concentration camp and some people don't? And he tried to observe the behavior, and they found that people that literally gave up hope, the way that they were talking, expressing themselves, when they gave up hope, they died quicker than the guys that clung to hope. So let's learn out of that situation. That was much worse than what we are going through. For goodness sakes, you buy a box of cereal and you eat it. Other people had to hunt and wait for food. We are spoiled. Look at what it is that you've got. You've got a lot of blessings and a lot of stuff that's in your control. If you had to compare yourself to what happened then, and the fact that people had to cling to hope to stay alive, that's really, we don't have any excuses. So they also later on did studies with cancer patients, people with terminal illnesses, when they actually did studies, when people give up hope, more brain cells died quicker than the person that clung to hope. So that was just a study. I don't want to make any assumptions about, trying to be positive when you've got something that hectically happening in your life. But I'm just referring to the actual studies where they could see brain cells literally dying quicker than in another patient. So keep these things in mind. Pull people in, get connected, get support, go speak to someone if you feel you need to. Do not postpone it. It is an investment. The thing is, you may think, yeah, but I don't have that 600 Rand or 700 Rand right now. If you get that help, you may make more money in the future because you're thinking clearer, brighter, you're calmer, you're more in control. So don't stare in front of the adversity that you've got here right now. Something that I had to practice was faith. I never had faith because I thought I have to do everything. I have to do everything. I'm controlling everything. When I allowed a little bit of faith, the faith that something just will go right. I'm not talking about religious, all sorts of other stuff. I'm just talking about having faith that things will turn out well. And another thing that I was taught in the meditation courses is that if you worry, you are not allowing the divine an opportunity that something will just work out well. So Sit back, calm down, look at your situation, work out a little plan for you, a practical plan for your work and your family life. And then, what are going to be my coping mechanisms? Get one. You want to do something differently today than you've done yesterday. I told you that last week as well. There's going to be no change if you don't change something. And what are you going to change? Right. Resilience is focus on things within your control. Accept change by looking to your past. I see some people that are in their 70s and 80s that worry persistently to the point where they take heart medication. And then I'm thinking, you've been here 70 years. The world has not come to an end yet. It's been going pretty well. Yes, it's been up and down. Yes, it's been tough. But look at the past. Look at, we've survived COVID. You're still here. We've had load shedding for a while now. You are still here. You're still drinking your coffee in the morning with load shedding or not load shedding. You made a plan, didn't you? Look at what has worked out for you, because it did work out. Okay, then prioritize relationships. Reach out. Talk to people. Don't withdraw in tough times. Try to avoid negative people. So now when you do go and talk to people, don't go and talk to people that you know are always hysterical and who's refusing to just see the benefits or positive things. You know exactly who's who and who's what. Also, make sure you're not the negative one. Make sure that you uplift, that you help, that you support. Expand your social network, get enough exercise. Did you know that exercise is one of the only things? The other thing is meditation is the only thing that can get the stress hormone, cortisol, out of your blood. So if you didn't know that, start walking and start running and start Pilatesing and yogaing today. No, those are not words. I know it. I'm making it up because I'm creative. Because it actually doesn't matter. Go and do something that will get the cortisol out of your body. Practice a mind and body relaxation technique. Whenever I do these courses, I zoom in on this a massive amount of time. So I try and do exercises in a day, but relaxation, meditation is a massive part of what I do. So I meditate every single day. Next week, I'm going on an Art of Silence course where it's like a total spa for the soul, where you're just not on your phone. You don't have any online connection. You're just quiet. You are just quiet. So if there's any Art of Living members here, please put it in the chat box. I would like to know who you are. If there's people who are curious about this meditation stuff, Google the Art of Living. I think it's artofliving.org. It's a worldwide nonprofit organization. They teach you how to do breathing exercises. They teach you how to meditate, and then you go do it on your own. It's no strange religious thing or some weird cult things. They teach you how to do it. You can then either do follow-ups constantly with them, or you do it on your own. But don't try and meditate and do those things all on your own. Let someone teach you how to do it. Reframe your interpretations. As simple as the sentence sounds, reframe your interpretation, the way that you look at things. If you say to yourself every day, "Oh, this country is to an end; it's the end of the world," can you imagine your poor body is literally preparing for the disaster? Remember, there's war in other countries. We are still, under the circumstances, incredibly blessed. We are incredibly fortunate. There are people waking up in bomb shelters. There are people that had to leave their animals behind and flee. We are not that bad yet. Rather, think about what can you do. Is there any entrepreneurial things you can pursue to help the economy? Is there anything that you could do for you and your family? Whatever. It's not that bad yet. Yes, I know it's bad, but it's not that bad yet. So also, when I do stress management, I'm not trying to take away your stresses. I'm not trying to say that it's not hectic. It's not having an impact on you, because you could have a sick loved one. I'm not trying to say that it's not big and it's not bad and it's not painful and it's not relevant. I want you to get through it in the best way that you can. And I want you to be an example to your children, to your brothers and sisters, to your husband, your wife, whoever, people at work. I'm trying to get you through it in a nice, the best way that you can. And I'm trying to awaken in your head, you do have more resilience than you think you have. It's a muscle that you can practice. There were some other things here that said, I wanted to read something to you about exercise, how exercise promotes resilience. So, on a neurological level, exercise promotes neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to change and adapt to our environment. In particular, exercise enhances a chemical called brain derived neurotrophic factor. For you wants to Google it, it's BDNF, which is known to promote literal growth of cells and blood vessels in the brain, enhancing functioning. As you can imagine, neuroplasticity is a foundational component of acting resiliently to the disruptions that we experience in life. So these studies were it's journals that were written in 2021. So it's very relevant. It's current. Our thoughts and behaviors are both directly and indirectly influenced by our physiological state. So what they are also saying is, if you are already at a good place today, if an accident happens or you get hurt or sick later down the line, your already practiced resilience will help you get through that better. Additionally, exercise tends to strengthen the neural circuits and brain regions involved in top-down mental processes, which include self-regulation, planning, problem-solving, cognitive flexibility. So if we talk about self-regulation, what does that mean? That means, how do I regulate myself if I go through stress? Do I have the ability to acknowledge and see, okay, I'm going through a stressful situation. What can I do to work through it, calm down, but produce good solutions to problems and my challenges? So that is self-regulation. That's the ability to even just control your temper and just think about something calmly and in an awake manner. So, all right, but there's a lot of stuff there that I can read the whole day. Unfortunately, I gave you now scientific information that confirms exercise is good for you. Sorry, if you thought I was going to say just sleep more and eat more of that sweet barbecue puffs from Woolworths, then no. So, and I know, I told you last week, I know you like it. Sweet barbecue puffs from Woolworths, full of chemicals. Just such a challenge for your liver to work through, you know? Right. Once again, you can have a balance, cheat here and now, but be aware of what you put into your mouth. Okay, so resilience can be defined as a physical, mental, emotional, and a psychological experience. It also relates strongly to our immune system. So really, when I researched this a long time ago, I really didn't know that resilience is really big time physically as well. So if you were surprised, I was also surprised. So there are a few components that are very important: your diet, good sleep, exercise, stress management, relationship management, and investing in joy and happiness. So stress is one of the most important aspects that affect the immune system. I'm going to have to talk quicker because we're almost out of time. So stress is one of the most important aspects that affect the immune system. So listen to what I'm saying there now, because this actually affects the ability to detox and clean out. So this is related to our metabolic system, and under stress, we will have flare-ups. So this autoimmune thing that I've got, I have there's something wrong with my body's ability to, the immune system is just struggling. So once you can do better with your diet, it immediately does better in your body and everything just flows better. So there's an actual case study of married couples. So they looked at the healing of blisters in couples that resolved their conflict, firstly with animosity and secondly, amicably. So please don't ask me how they tested blisters. I don't know if they gave them blisters or how they just waited until people got blisters and did it, but it's really an actual scientific study that I read. And couples that resolved their conflict with animosity, the blisters took a longer time to heal. Couples that resolved their conflict amicably, the blisters healed quicker. And it's really an actual study that was done. So it goes smoother if you are prepared. So now, resilience is not just mental, physical, psychological, emotional recovery, but it's also immune recovery. Your immune system could be suffering and you could have no idea. I had no idea my immune system was struggling. So ensure a healthy diet with micronutrients. Use small bursts of supplements. Follow an holistic, colorful diet. So if you look at the colors here on the left side of the screen, you'll see it's very colorful. I told you last week, I did such a lot of research on what we should eat. A keto diet or a banting diet is pretty good ones if you wanted to research something that cuts out sugar. So sugar is really a toxin. Also be aware of the type of vegetable that contains a lectin. So a lectin, if you are someone who's got digestive problems, or if you suspect you may have a leaky gut, which I think a lot of people have, we just don't know it. A lectin, a vegetable with a lectin in, it serves literally like a rusted nail that you're swallowing, that's scraping through the intestines. And lectins, you may find lectins in certain nuts, but also vegetables such as like your peppers and things like that. But remember now, you want to avoid lectins if you know your digestion is not great. For other people that know you are healthy, you can eat everything, make it a colorful diet. But if you suspect, so the research does show that a leaky gut are quite linked to autoimmune diseases. So you really want to look at what you put in your mouth. So since I started the keto diet without the sugar, I became incredibly aware that even in little pots with little sauces, in mayonnaise, anything, it's just sugar. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I can tell you on certain of these, I don't like to call it a diet, but like a keto diet, you really eat a lot. Don't think you're going to be deprived. But if you want to pursue something where you want to maybe lose weight and you want to cut out your sugar, those are good diets to research. There's also studies that shows that keto and paleo diets have healed autoimmune diseases. But do your own research. I also want to show you, I did more research on good sleep. So they say steeping iceberg lettuce in warm water for 20 minutes, it promotes sleep. So I tried it, it worked. I don't know if it was all in my mind, but it worked. And I'm talking about iceberg lettuce, yeah. It's not even expensive. Then a powerful antioxidant, grinding pomegranate peel contains flavonoids, phenolic acid, and tannins. It fights against infections, including heart disease. Hay fever. So remember, hay fever and allergies, a lot of your symptoms will start here. So all of us, we say, yeah, but I've got food sensitivities, I've got allergies, I've got hay fever, whatever. This thing is a incredible indication of what else is wrong in your body. So what mine actually started here. Whenever I ate something or whatever, I would just start sneezing, and it would actually be terrible. And then I realized it was really not allergies. My allergies are actually not bad at all. It was indicative of the body attacking itself. So if you've got hay fever and sneeze a lot and all of those things, go look at what else you are doing. I can tell you a lot of our problem starts with sugar. Okay, so let me just see if there's some comments here. For the bit about keto diet, I live with type 1 diabetes. So the keto diet is fantastic for diabetes. Please read up on it. It is very, very good for diabetes. Okay, so the resilience, I'm going to have to wrap up because our time is almost finished. Please let me know in the Q&A box if you had any questions, if there was anything that I didn't cover today. Please let me know. There was something else I wanted to tell you about the research that I did about food or allergies versus food sensitivities. It's two way different things. Don't think food sensitivity is a nice way of talking about an allergy. Food sensitivity, so you've got your allergies on the one side, food sensitivities starts when you have a leaky gut, which means that there are possible tiny tears in the colon, because the colon actually just has one little layer of cells. It gets torn very, very, very easily because we eat absolute crap. I don't even have to go into that. So what then happens? The stuff that goes through the colon leaks into the body. Antibodies then gets created to attack the foreign object in the body. Then we create food sensitivities. So now you may eat a carrot and feel sneezy afterwards, but you won't connect it. You won't connect it because you don't know that you are actually hurting your colon because of the crap that you are putting into your body. So let's look at the 3 F's for resilience: fitness, emotional, immune, mental, and emotional fitness. Family, appreciate the value of family. Even if you don't like half of them, start liking them, interact with them, engage with them. If it's a very toxic member, you know you need to rather avoid, but nurture what you've got. And then faith. Now, I told you before, it doesn't have to be religious faith. It is faith in people, in your own competence, that everything will be okay. Grow your faith. If you've done everything that you can, also give the universe time to just contribute. I then want to jump to self-awareness. If I have 5 minutes, 3 minutes, this is the one thing that I want to teach you. Self-awareness is the thing that will give you the answer about almost everything that's in your life. So, what did the FBI do? The FBI, this is now the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So what they're in America or something. So the way that they train their law enforcement officers to become aware is they actually let them sit in a restaurant or at the airport, wherever. They will sit in a room, and they will become aware of everyone that's around them. Who's ordering what around them? Who's talking to whom around them? And also, but be aware of what you are doing, who is dressed in what way. That way, if you practice self-awareness like that, awareness about yourself and others, practice it, play a little bit, do like we do in the movie. You know what is that? I can't remember the movie with Matt Damon where they spies and all of that. So become aware of what's going on around you. How are you feeling? What type of reaction do you have when what happens? So build your awareness by these type of exercises, and then control your thoughts. You become actually what it is that you think. Become aware of your own internal dialogue. The more negative it is, your body will have a physiological reaction towards it. Learn to focus. Put that phone down, get off the internet, and focus on what it is that you are doing. If you feel overwhelmed, stop, do one thing at a time. One thing. Put your phone away. You know, when you have to go like this, phone, computer, drop it. One thing at a time. What do you think an FBI agent would do? They would actually focus on one thing at a time. Keep growing. I actually wanted to stop with the diamond cutter. So what do you do when someone gives you critical feedback? Feedback is another thing that you can build your awareness. How well am I actually doing? Someone gives you suggestions for improvement, or they point out something that you've missed. Basically, it feels like someone is telling you. None of us like it if someone gives you criticism or gives you feedback. We don't like it. So, but listen to it. If your partner tells you, you never let me finish my sentence, or you interrupt me when I'm talking, listen to it. Listen to it. Just take a step back, relax, listen to it. You can only do better. So we all need criticism because none of us are perfect. We all have blind spots, and we can always improve. So we can compare criticism to a freshly mined diamond, the rock that may be ugly to the naked eye, but once it's cut and polished, the value becomes obvious. So criticism is like that unpolished diamond. It's ugly at first, but you can get better. Ask people, how am I managing my stress? The Born Supremacy, yes. All the Born movies. Look at what that guy does. He focuses on one thing. He's a specialist at what he does. He looks at what's going on around him. Be like that. Did you see in the one movie where he's running like that on the beach? You know, come on, get running, walk around the block. Be like Matt Damon, it's all the Bourne movies, yes. So go do a little bit of research, but now our time is up, but I want to urge you, become aware of what it is that you put in your mouth. There is sugar in every single thing. I've cut out my sugar and I haven't had strange stiffness in my joints like I've had last year. Last year, without me realizing it, I was really having more pain than I thought. I started cutting out sugar, bread, pasta, the works, eating only meat and vegetables. The inflammation, I cannot even tell you. It's just, that's why I wish I could share you my blood results today, because I would have liked to see whether some of the markers for autoimmune is lower. Hopefully, if I see you next week, I know I promised this last week. Next week, I want to try and give you the blood results, because the proof will be in the pudding. And so I hope I'm going to see you next week. Next week, Wednesday again, same time. I'm going to type in my email address here for you. It's Celia at PTES Consulting. Also, if I just go to the last slide here, you will be able to see our contact details. So ask the HR Talk for the recording of this, and also the notes, and really go do something. I think I was going to ask you whether you've implemented any changes in the last week, and then I didn't ask you. Okay, but I'm going to ask you next week, which changes have you implemented in your life? So join me next week again for part 3, and bring along the changes that you've made in your life. If you've done something differently that you've never done before, small changes, even if it's small changes, drinking your cup of tea during tea time, all on your own, alone, without a cell phone, just for 15 minutes. It's just you and your cup of tea. Okay, so there are people saying that they haven't received the recording. So if you've got the HR Talks email address, please email them, and they will be able to send you this, and we'll be able to send you the notes. So it should probably be in the invite, the email address. I think it's reception@hrtalk.co.za. Or you can email me as well. Let me just put my email address. There's my email address. So you can email us, and we will make sure that you got the notes. But I really hope to see you next week again. Bring your questions, bring your improvements, bring your worries and your concerns, and we'll talk about it again, so that you can prepare for 2022 and have a healthy mind and body. Okay, everyone, but I'm going to say goodbye now, and we're going to see you next week. So please come along again. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you again. All right, and if there's any further questions, put it in the question box, and we'll take it from there. So hopefully you've done so. You will do some research this week about specific sugar-free diets. Do yourself a favor. You will love it. I promise you, you will love it. All right. So thank you, everyone. Have an absolute fantastic Valentine's Day, and just have a nice Wednesday. Go and have your cup of tea now. Spend some time just with yourself, and reload your mind.